Okay, so cool story of the day. So today during my world history class, different class, there's a girl named Amanda who's in that class, and it was like the end of the class, and I was just readjusting my MGMT coin, and she was like, "Oh, that's so cool. What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, well, you know MGMT?" And she was like, "Yeah, I love them." And I'm going like, "Sure." But I was like, "Oh, well, if you buy the limited edition of their newest album, Congratulations, you get a coin. That's because it's a scratch-off cover, and this is the coin that you get, and people who are like really, really big fans, they tend to make it like a necklace or a bracelet, represent MGMT. And she's like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I was explaining to her that, it's 6655. Oh, wait, I asked her if she knew this on Flash Florium. And then she was like, "Oh, yeah." And then I was like, "Oh, the part that goes 6655, red battleships, 40 Earth-like planets, 3 holes, 2 tits, 1 fork in its side." She's like, "Yeah, that's what it is? Oh, that's cool." And I was like, "Yeah, it is." She's like, "Oh, I love that album that has, Kids, Time to Pretend, and what's that last song?" And I'm like, immediately in my head, I'm thinking like, they live. They breed. And I'm just like, Electric Feel. And she's like, "Yeah, I love those songs." And then I was like, have you listened to the rest of that album? And then she was like, no. I was like, "Oh, well, you definitely should." I mean, they're not like, the rest of the songs aren't like Kids or Time to Pretend like, but they're just as good. And she's like, "Oh, well, I haven't had the time. Too busy getting my fake bake, herp-a-derp-a-der." And I was like, "Oh, well, you definitely should. Then you can, move on to Congratulations, and if you really want to, you can go to Climbing to New Lows." And then she's like, "There's a third album?" And I was like, "Yeah, there's a third album, technically." She's like, "Oh, well, that's cool. I'll definitely do that." And I was like, "Yeah, you do that. You do that." That was my cool story of the day. Sponsored by Diet Coke.